And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our special guest for today to talk about the Carbon Cutter Project. Of course, he is the Director for Environment Programs and Partnerships of the Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park, District 3830, Zone 10A. An innovative founder, inventor, advocate, and likes to make things better. He also calls himself a landlocked sailor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Dan Renner.
Thank you very much, David.
Wow, why is it landlocked sailor? I guess that's the
Uh,
first thing that I could ask you so that our viewers will know more about you.
well, when I was a kid, my stepfather used to he owned a few sailboats, and we used to go racing every weekend. So now I don't own a sailboat, so I don't go sailing.
You wish, but you wish you have one, right? So that you
Oh
know.
yeah, they're a lot of
Anyway.
fun. They really are a lot of fun.
So before we introduce the project, Dan, no, siguro the first question that I could ask is, what is your background and how do you happen to be in the Philippines and then thinking about, protecting the environment? So let's hear something about you.
Okay. Basically, I've always been, as you mentioned, somebody who likes to make things better. Uh, I had my own bicycle repair shop when I was 15, 16, something like that. That was in my dad's garage. Um, I've I've owned quite a few businesses. I was in the U.S. Navy. I was taught electronics, hydraulics, air compressors, air conditioning, electrical generation, a few others. And I also taught those same subjects to our U.S. Marines. Um, I've worked for other people, but honestly, I've always done better on my own. Uh, I I never took a day of school in computers, but I owned my own computer business for about 19 years and was very good at it. It's I just like to get in and find out how things work and how to make them better. Uh, as far as cars go, my typical for me anyway. I had a 7-year old Honda Civic, and
Wow.
my Honda Civic could outhandle a lot of sports cars
Hmm.
just because I wanted to make it handle better. So it's I love tinkering. I love playing with things. So
So I think that
uh,
brings us to the carbon cutter project, right? So Dan, so without further ado, perhaps we could start with what this carbon cutter project is all about, how it will help, our car owners or our other, other mass transport owners. So Dan, here we go. I leave it up to you. This is a very interesting project, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to really pay attention because for me, I was really surprised, and for me, it was really amazing. So there you go, Dan.
thank you for that, David. All right, so this is a Rotary Club Alabang Magical Business Park project. Where basically the idea is to make the tricycles, and we may also get into jeepneys, make them pollute less. And just to give you an idea of why this is needed, you probably all seen the black smoke from the back of jeepneys or trucks, that sort of thing, or you smelled the gasoline from the back of motorcycles. And all of that is just fuel that did not burn. So if it did not burn, that means it's polluting the environment. And if it did not burn, that means that whoever is wasting that you're smelling their money. So um, let's see where are you? Okay, so this is a NASA map of the CO2 on Earth. This is 2018, just before the pandemic. Obviously, you can see where the CO2 is very, very heavy. A lot of it is over Asia. Um, I don't know why it's sitting up north, but that's where it is. And in 2015, the World Health Organization said that 2 million people are dying from air pollution per year. But actually, the WHO now says that's 7 million. You can follow this link here to see a video of them saying that. So all of the smoke here, all of it is very bad for the environment. It ends up on the ice in the Arctic. It creates a big cloud over the planet, and it reflects the sunlight back down into Earth, which heats it. So that's what we're working on. And this is what the carbon cutter does. Changes this on a 5-year-old Hyundai Starex into this, or changes this in 2 minutes to this. And the city of Malabon did multiple tests on a few different tricycles, and they got an average of 2 parts per million of hydrocarbons, which is 0.26% of the legally allowed limit of 7,800. So that's what our device does. It knocks pollution way down. The device has been verified by third parties, the Department of Science and Technology, the Makati ASBU, Anti-Smoke Belching Unit. We have lots and lots of environmental testing, the LTO testing. UP Diliman did a consumption test on it, and we passed on that as well. So the tests are up, the device works, and it works very, very well. So now the benefits of the project: we lower greenhouse gas levels, pollution basically. We lower fuel costs for the PUV drivers, which turns around and is basically means increased income for them. It's money they do not have to spend on fuel. And we pay PWDs to fabricate the device for us in their own home. And we pay them very well, actually. So we're helping out PWDs, we're helping increase the income of the drivers, we're lowering greenhouse gases, we're giving citizens better air to breathe, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Engines will actually have more power because they make power by burning fuel. So if you're not burning all your fuel, you're not getting the power it was designed for. If you were to purchase one of these devices, you would get a return on investment within 6 weeks if you're a PUV driver. Otherwise, it might be 2 months, maybe less. This device lasts for the life of the engine. For a tricycle, let's say, that's usually about 5 years. And the suggested retail price of this thing is very acceptable. $1,200 for trikes and $2,500 for Jeeps, SUVs, small trucks like that. So to give you an idea of what this thing actually does, if we would put this device in 1,000 tricycles, we put our carbon cutter in there, we would remove 14 20,000-liter tanker trucks of fuel from the air every year. Now you multiply that by 5 and you get something like 70. So that's the lifetime of that vehicle, those 1,000 vehicles. We'd be removing 70 of these trucks worth of fuel out of your air that you are breathing. Now, if you divide this out, that's 287,000, we'll say 288,000 liters of fuel per year that are not used. That increases the driver's income by 14,000 pesos per year. So it's very good for the drivers. Now, is the carbon cutter wanted? Yes. This is a letter from the City of Malabon Central Office. That's the City Environment and Natural Resources Office. It's basically saying they want the project. They want, Mayor Lundlund is behind this. He wants it in all 3,800 of the tricycles in the City of Malabon. And this letter was signed by the Central Chief and the City Administrator. So yes, it's a wanted project. They They thoroughly tested it. All their, well, no, excuse me, 24 of their total presidents tried it out, and they all want it, and they all want it for all of their members. So this is actually written up for the Rotary Club. So my apologies, but this, we're working with other Rotary clubs. Other Rotary clubs are interested in the project because they can get in and help a major environmental push. So, which we appreciate very much, because the larger area this thing gets spread out to, the better air that you are breathing, and that's what we're interested in. So, so there you go. Over to you,
Hi,
David.
Dan. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. So that's very interesting. Uh, I presented this to some of the members of Aksyon Kalikasan, and I think one of the first questions is first and foremost, I don't have to ask if it is already certified, because you already said that it was has been certified by various, third party organizations. Can you give us a rough estimate of how much was the emission before, for example, of a tricycle that you tested before the installation of the device, and then the emission after the installation of the carbon cutter?
Uh, I don't know if I have it before, but I do have a. Let's see. Let me see if I can share this. So, let's see if I can bring this up here real quick. Sorry for the delay, but
Oh, that's okay. You also have a video, right, that you have shown before. Perhaps later on we can share that video as well. Okay, let's
oh
go.
sure, yeah, I have a couple of videos. Sure. Um, I mentioned before that. Well, in fact, this is the Philippine emission table. It's what's allowed. This is the maximum allowance on the different greenhouse gases. Um, this here is hydrocarbons, and as you can see, you're allowed 7,800 parts per million on motorcycles.
Wow, that's a
Now,
lot.
that's a lot. It's especially a lot when you consider that same year cars are only allowed 800, which I find very interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway, so whoops, wait. This one here, I believe. Yeah. Remember, a limit of 7,800. This is one of the reports from the city of uh, geez, Mal, Malabon. Malabon, thank you. And you can see the hydrocarbons are 44 parts per million out of a maximum of 7,800. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. There's a
Yeah.
question from one of our audience, the Doc Maggie Mendoza. He's saying that hydrocarbon is different from carbon and carbon dioxide. So,
Very true.
yeah. How
Yeah,
how
very.
is
The difference is carbon dioxide is a direct calculation by how much fuel goes through the engine. Now, note, it is not how much fuel is burned by the engine, it's just how much fuel goes through the engine. So if you put, uh, say you put a liter, just to make it easy calculation, you put a liter through the engine, you'll have an exact amount of carbon dioxide emitted. If you do something that reduces the amount of fuel that's actually needed, then you've reduced the carbon dioxide. But the hydrocarbon, a dictionary definition of hydrocarbon is fuel. Just one word, fuel. So if you can reduce that is fuel that people don't have to breathe. It's gasoline or diesel that you don't have to breathe. Yes, carbon dioxide is bad, but honestly, there are other gases that are quite a bit more poisonous, like carbon monoxide is that's the one that you actually die from if you go in your garage, start up your car, and close the doors. You're going to die from carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide.
So technically, you're saying that this device reduces the fuel intake of of the vehicle. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. And
Thereby reducing the output carbon dioxide.
yeah, that's actually DOST verified. In fact, I can bring that up too. Uh, yeah. This is the DOST verification report. Right? They have environmental technology verification, which basically says, does your whatever do what you say it's going to do environmentally? And you have to actually apply for this verification. It's not something you can just walk in and say, "Hey, I want you guys to do this one." So interestingly, when we went in there and we applied for it, the supervisor, the test supervisor, told us you're going to fail. Is it because no similar device, the device that has similar claims, none of them to date have passed this verification test, and
None, as in zero, right?
as in zero. That was in 2018. I don't know, maybe after that, but that was in 2018. None. That's what he told us.
There's another interesting question. Perhaps you have a video with this. Doc Meg is asking, what is the science that reduces the carbon dioxide? What is the device? So I think you have a. Can you share that video which you have presented before during the,
Mm, was that
so
the
that you can also explain what does the device do? How is it installed?
uh, yeah, looking for it right now. Okay. Yep. Basically, there's a scientific principle known as laminar flow. And laminar simply means layers. Um, where are you? Oops. I don't see it. I'm sorry, hang on. I'm sorry, it doesn't want to share right now. Try again here.
You can share a video file or share your screen.
Whoops. Okay, try again. Yeah, not coming up with a video. Try just too much. Okay. Okay. Can you see this air bubbles passing through crystal tubes? David,
We're now seeing it.
you are seeing it
Yeah,
or
yeah,
no?
yeah.
Oh, okay, great. All right. So to explain, let's get started here. These are two plastic tubes on a table. They're capped off at the table, nothing going through the table. The only thing that's in them is water, and there's a aquarium bubbler down at the bottom of the pipe. Now, look at the speed of the bubbles between the left and the right. And you'll see that the only difference in the speed, the only difference in the two pipes is this coil here, right? Which would be nice if you could do that in a car or a motorcycle, but you can't. There's not enough room to do this. So, so what's actually going on here? These bubbles on the left-hand side are slow. In the middle, they're a little bit faster. These bubbles are fast. And on the sides, you can see that they're basically, the bubbles are not touching the side of the pipe. What's going on is inside friction. Inside the pipe wall has friction. No matter how much you smooth it, even if it's mirror polished, you're still going to have friction. And that's going to slow the speed of whatever you put through it down. This side, you're keeping the bubbles off of the edge, and therefore you're increasing the speed. Now, what I'm doing is similar to this, but not quite exactly. And I'm doing this along with I'm creating two different flows of air. So when the air actually goes into the engine, it mixes with the fuel better. The air mixes better. It vaporizes more of the fuel, and then more of the fuel actually burns. That hopefully that answered that question.
Hello?
Hello, there you are.
Yeah. Hi, Doc Maggie. Yeah, that's the technology behind it. So it's not is it a device, or I mean, how small is it? Does it modify the vehicle? Does it modify the engine?
It's very small. For a motorcycle, it's about that big. For a car, it's about that big. A car, a SUV, a jeepney, small truck, they're all about the same size, about 3-inch diameter. And no, it makes no modifications to the engine whatsoever. It only changes the way the air enters the engine.
So there's
That's
according to the president of Action Kalikasan is also watching right now. Uh, Mr. Chat Velasquez is saying that so it is about reducing friction. Is it about reducing friction?
it's a combination of yes, reducing friction on the air entering the engine, and it's also in introducing a second airflow, which tends to blend the fuel and air mixture better. So you get more upset, more upheaval. I can't think of the word right now. Not enough coffee, but basically the idea is it's a much better blending of the fuel and air. Um, a lot of people don't know that liquid gasoline cannot burn, and the reason that it cannot burn is because when it's in liquid form, inside of that liquid there is no oxygen, and you have to have oxygen to burn. It's absolutely a necessity. So fuel, gasoline, diesel, whatever, has to be vaporized before it can burn. And this process of what I'm doing helps to vaporize that fuel better. That's why you get a better burn.
I see, I see. I hope the questions are okay. We're just trying to pull out the questions from our audience so that it will be
Well,
more engaging. There's another question from Doc Maggie. It's like you're doing a dissertation. I hope that is okay because it means these
so
people are interested, right? They're interested with the carbon capture project.
good.
So according to Doc Maggie, so the device increases the efficiency of air injection or airflow.
Yes, it increases the efficiency and it introduces that second flow. So yes, D all the above.
In relation to that, she asked, what is the percentage of fuel economy increase when the carbon cutter is installed on the vehicle?
Well,
The,
our tricycle drivers usually get about a 20% decrease in their fuel expenses daily.
wow.
That's a normal. Um,
Thank you. According to President Chot of Aksyon Kalikasan, he said, let us consider this. Maybe we can recommend to our partners. So that's a
uh,
good thing, right?
yeah, uh, all you'd have to do is try it on your. One of the I didn't show you the actual results that we got
You have the
from.
video of the installation. I'm curious if we can have you found it. I mean, the actual, the actual installation on the vehicle that you have shown us before.
Oh, sure, I can do that here. Uh,
And probably also, perhaps if Action Kalikasan can, if they would want to, to test the device, would that be also be possible if they want to like test the device and then, Action Kalikasan also has this team to then certify it as an environmental worth of endorsing. Would that be okay with you then?
sure, yeah, if they want to, I can't argue with it. Oh,
The
okay, this
more
time,
people that's endorsing it, the better, right?
yeah, I'm, I, I could say I'm interested in making money, but that's money is always nice, but it doesn't actually. It's not an end product. You know what I mean?
Our
It's
only
just
my only worry, Dan, is about this 1,200. Perhaps, hopefully, there's no corruption later on. Perhaps they would sell it to 30 or 50,000 per unit. I hope that
no,
will not be the case with you.
no, no. It, we can handle that. It's a if somebody said 50,000 for this thing and one of the drivers took a look at it, they'd laugh at you and walk away.
So we just say, Dan, we will endorse it, but the process here. We have to have 50%, then you get the 50%, then we cost this for 50,000. you know,
That's
that's I
however it
would
is.
like to applaud you for that. That's very good of you. Now let's see the actual installation.
Okay, sure. This is on a Yamaha FC. I'll skip ahead a little bit because it can be kind of slow, and I suppose I don't need the music. But this is on this bike here. Uh, so first, you got in order to take the carburetor off. We do have to take carburetor off. You have to take the tank cover and all that sort, air filter. It's a little bit complicated on a motorcycle. It's a lot easier on a jeepney. It takes 1 minute to install on a jeepney. I like jeepneys very much. Um, this, well, get back there. This is the intake manifold right here. That has to come out, and then we could size it, and basically you spread the liquid gasket on it to make sure it is airtight, so there's no leakage. We don't want any air leak in it because if you get an air leak, the engine's going to run hot, and that's definitely not good. Um, then put it on the manifold. Whoops, sorry. Put it on the manifold, on the intake manifold. So basically, we're making sure everything is sealed, and put the manifold back. Screw it all down, and that's basically it. It's done. And the DOST have verified that the performance, the power is definitely increased. And so of all of our 3,000 plus users, um, we've got about 3,000 users in the Philippines now. Um, Plus we've got some in New Zealand, France, Norway, U.S. Uh, I think that's about it right now. So basically, just put it all back together, and yep, bada bing, bada boom, you're all done. And the way we can tell if there's an air leak or not is if there's a whistle.
Wow.
So just start it up and run it, and that's it. Motorcycles motorcycles take about 20 minutes to do the install. Yeah, but like I say, a Jeepney, SUV. I love Fords, Stratas, like those. They take about 2 minutes to install. They're very, very simple. So
There is another question which is very interesting, and I think this is very, very critical. Is the IP protected, Dan? I mean, have you applied for the patent of this device?
Oh yes, yeah, we are
Yeah,
patented.
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
And then another question. Wow, we have a lot of interest on your device. Huh? Will it work on stationary engines and generator?
Oh, you love it on stationaries. We did a, what was that, a stationary reefer truck. It was a brand new Hino, and according to the owners, we reduced their consumption by 48%. The reason why stationary is better is because stationary, you don't have the human, I want to push the gas pedal, because every time you push the gas pedal, that squirts an extra fuel in there. There's another squirt of fuel that's added in every time you pump the pedal. So you have that, you have the human, let's go, let's go. Stationary engines tend to run at a steady speed, so they're much, much more efficient. So yes, absolutely yes. Generators, we put it in generators, we put it in stationary reefer trucks, could be in pumps, you name it.
Very, very interesting. So I think there's a feedback on Doc Meg saying that, but this is it is actually not reducing CO2, but just promoting complete combustion of fuel, lesser CO, but not lesser CO2. But I think if you improve the process of the engine, the combustion, in effect, it will take you more time. For example, if the CO2 emission is that caused by the fuel for one day will be reduced. I don't know how it works, but what do you think about this feedback?
Not quite correct. The reason is that we're increasing the efficiency of the engine, which means you're going to get more power for the same amount of fuel. So if that's true, that means you don't have to push the pedal as hard to do the same job that you did before. So if you're
Wow.
not using the same amount of fuel, and remembering that the amount of CO2 is the direct calculation by how much fuel goes through that engine, then of course the CO2 is lowered.
Interesting. Yeah, I would agree with you with that. Another question from President Chot Velasquez of Action Kalikasan. Can this clean the engine at the same time?
Actually, yes.
Wow. So
Yeah,
it's doing two things or three things at the same time. Wow, very interesting.
yeah. In fact, I have a video. See if I can remember where I put it. Um, there. Let's see if it's this one here. Yeah. Let me share this with you real quick. It's not a long video. This is some of the drivers in. There we go. It's some of the tricycle drivers in Katakunan. We did about 60 tricycles here, and these are some of their
I
results.
see.
Ako'y labis po nagpapasalamat sa produkto na ibinigay sa amin, gadget para sa motor, sa carbon cutter na sinasabi ko nila. Dahil ako mismo nasaksiyan ko yung malaking diferensya, malaking pagkakaiba ho sa atin. Pinag-drive ko motor. Sa ngayon, na-obserbahan ko ngayon, matipid siya sa gas at saka yung amoy ng gasolina nawawala at saka bukod doon yung carbon ng spark plug hindi na siya nagka-carbon, kulay white na siya, hindi katulad ng dati is black, wala pang gadget na ito. Great intention. Thank you. At ako po ay nananawagan sa mga gusto pong sumuporta po sa amin sa produktong ito na carbon cutter. Ito po ay makakuluwag sa mga tricycle driver at saka sa ibang mga motorista. Ito po ay napakahusay gamitin. Mas makakasave po tayo ng pera po sa gas at saka sa maintenance po ng ating motor.
Maganda siya. Paano sa maganda? Hindi. Araw kasi siyempre, ako may na ito, di ba? Everyday ako nagmaneho na ito. Naobserbahan ko kagad sa maiksing takbo. Iba yung lakas niya, tsaka yung yung hatak, yung hatak niya.
Wow, it lasts the entire life of the vehicle. Wow.
Yeah.
For those who are joining us late, like I think Canuel Astillero saying that the device must be tested publicly by the DOST and results published. Was the test by the DOST publicly made? And was it published as well?
Yeah, as far as I know. I have the report. I was handed it at their office. We did it there.
Wow. So Doc Maggie is saying that he wants to visit you. So this is a pre-combustion technology, and yes, I want to visit you and have a closer look on your technology, because I understand that Doc Maggie is also a scientist. So perhaps you can exchange ideas and improve the carbon cutter even more.
Well, they're welcome to come on by.
Because if it will be used on cars and then jeepneys, and then you have the Euro 4 standard. Because personally I am pro electric jeepneys as well, right? But there is an inherent problem as well of electric cars and electric jeeps because of the battery. When the battery has reaches its end of life, that will be another environmental problem, because as of now there is no way to recycle or dispose of the battery. Also, the electric jeeps that we are seeing now seems to be, as I've told you before during our call, it's not like a jeepney anymore. It's like a bus,
Yeah.
So we will be killing our one of our tourist attractions in the Philippines, which is the jeepney. So we hope that it will be still Egypt, right, Dan? Because you told me you fell in love with the jeepneys of the Philippines. Am I right?
Yeah, they're unique. They're Filipino, So they're cool. I like them. I like anything that speaks of creativity, and jeepneys are definitely creative. So
Perhaps we can have a design of an Egypt that is really a jeep, right?
hope so.
Another comment from Manuel Astillero. I remember when somebody proposed a gadget that separates hydrogen from oxygen in water, hydrolysis, to use hydrogen as fuel in cars. The government suggests an 8-hour test.
Yeah, that was Danny Dingle. He was a Paranaque, so he's from Paranaque. Yeah, I remember.
But now he's in. I think the patent is the technology is bought by Germany. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
So hopefully, Dan, you will not sell this technology to other countries. We need it.
No, I'm not planning on selling it yet. No, I want to get it out. We want to sell it in other countries, but not to other countries. So yes, we'd like to get it as widespread as possible. Just get the level.
Which relates to this next question: is this available in any other country? That's my one last question, according to Doc Maggie Mendoza.
Well, I have about 300 users in the U.S. I've got some in New Zealand, France, and Norway. So a few other countries, not many yet. I have some testing in other countries I won't mention yet, but yeah, it's becoming more and more available.
So is Dan a Filipino by heart, or are you already a Filipino citizen?
No, just by heart,
I'm glad
just
that
by heart.
there's a thing that foreigner looking people sometimes, like I myself, I'm a Filipino citizen, right? But my looks is I look like a foreigner. It seems that there's an irony that people from other country comes up with things that would help the Philippines more, while some of our fellow Filipinos tends to not love the Philippines that much. I would not say everyone, but sometimes that's the case, and it saddens me. But hopefully, you can inspire more Filipinos to also support your product and to love our country, right?
Yeah. Well,
There's
there's
another comment. Yes, done. Yes,
sure.
before
Go
we can probably save the Filipino jeepneys. We should indeed save the Filipino jeepney, right, Dan?
ahead. Yes,
And your
I
product
agree.
would be a big help for that.
Yes, it is. We actually had a case where when our office was over by Kansas City City Hall, uh, the the janitor of the office next door, uh, she was asking if her father could try the device because he had just failed in his Jeep had just failed the emission test, so he wasn't going to be allowed to drive anymore. We put the device on that afternoon. The next morning he went and he passed. I think he failed with a 2.6 or 2.8 somewhere in there. Next morning he got a 1.3.
Wow, outstanding, right?
Yeah,
If there's one problem with the jeepneys, I think it falls down to the owner or the operator. There are jeepneys. I would admit there are jeepneys that when you ride that jeep, you will have how do you call that? Your heart will palpitate because you will think, oh no, I hope this jeepney doesn't broke, right? Because there are jeeps that it's like it's not been paid for, for 10 years or 5 years, right? I think
yeah.
those are the jeepneys that should be phased out, and then the owners or the operators should be helped out, in getting a new one. But I hear that our new models of jeepneys are cost around 100 plus thousands, or even it costs a lot. E-jeeps, or e-buses for that matter, right?
Actually the a jeepney without an engine costs about 300,000 pesos. That's just a regular jeepney,
Wow.
and an e jeep costs around 1.2 to 1.5 million.
Whew.
Yeah, exactly.
How can an ordinary jeepney driver even afford a 1.2 million? Even if you give that person, a loan, it will be, how do you call that? It will like be putting him inside the coffin, then shutting the coffin shut, right?
Yeah,
That's too
unfortunately,
much. That's too much.
but
This
that's just
is one very informative session. Expect me to visit and buy. Wow. you have a scientist that would help, and then you have a client. Congratulations, Dan. And
thank you.
any last before we end the show, Dan? I am really glad that yeah, for the jeepney before we end, perhaps the Action Kalikasan and the Rotary Club of Labang Madrigal Business Park could have a design competition, for the best jeepney design. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That will pass on to the new millennia, and then with Dan's carbon cutter project, it will be a lot of help. So Dan, before we end the show, any messages or invitation to viewers before we go and end the show?
Yeah, if you want to take a look at some results, you can go to YouTube and do a search for either engine ecology or carbon cutter. You can find we've got quite a few videos, especially with before afters or just the results of just different people trying it out, and even trials. Whoosh, we did for one company we did a trial and their truck started out at 6.0 on the test on the emission test, and brought it all the way down to 1 point something. That's all on YouTube. You can see them there. We've also got a Facebook page. Just search for Engine Ecology on Facebook. And I'm also on LinkedIn with a few different things, a few different articles and posts there.
Wow, that's really, really amazing, Dan. I would like to congratulate you on behalf of Action Kalikasan. So we would very much like to, to help with this project and, reach out and help to, improve the engines and also, of course, with the Green Party of the Philippines. We're also, very much interested. This will help a lot of people pending, that we are pushing as well for sustainable transportation, rather than, forcing everyone into one solution. We should really look into, finding sustainable solution that works not only with the environment. If it works with the environment, it should also work with the economy of people, and it should improve their lives, right? It should also improve their lives and not make their lives harder, right, Dan?
Agreed. Actually,
So
if I
thank
may,
yes, yes, Dan.
do I have time to show something real quick?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. This was a calculation I did. This is an article on LinkedIn. Um, you do a search for this one, you can find it. Um, I calculated out what from the DOST results, just straight from that, from their verification. The International Energy Agency reports that transport sector emitted blah blah. That basically works out to one vehicle puts out a little over 4 tons of CO2 per year, and Car and Driver and another magazine had average electric vehicle pricing of 55,000. Both of them were right in the same range. And we create an average of 20% reduction in CO2, which equals almost a 1 ton drop per year per vehicle. So if you were going to buy an electric vehicle and you said, well, never mind, I'm just going to take the same money and buy 1,100 carbon cutters, you'll reduce 918 tons of CO2 per year instead of 4.
Wow, amazing. So this is, this carbon cutter project, as I understand, is also the major project that you did together with the Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park. Am I right?
Absolutely. We're we're working on it. Basically, I think it's past president now, Danny, and I forgot his last name. My apologies. But they're working on a co-op, nationwide co-op, where tricycle drivers will actually be used to do deliveries for the co-op. And he's going to have all the tricycle drivers that are involved in this co-op get the device. And then we're also working on getting the tricycle totas in Parañaque to get them outfitted as well. So it's we're then from then he's also planning on making this, growing the project nationwide. We do have interest from quite a few other clubs, not just Alabang Madrigal Business Park. Quite a few other clubs are actually interested in the project, and we've already had a couple say that yes, they want to help. So it looks very good. It looks like we're getting a lot of interest, and it looks very good. Good possibility of getting a big.
Perhaps we can, Dan, we can really have a project that is collaborated by, by many people, like, the Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park is spearheading this one, the Carbon Cutter Project. Plus, I think Action Kalikasan is also very interested. President Chot and Doc Meggy Mendoza are both members of Action Kalikasan. Chot Velasquez is the president. And she has this comment that says, The carbon cutter by Dan is an impressive pre-combustion technology, increasing air intake efficiency, resulting to more fuel economy and enhancing complete combustion of carbon. So that's an assessment of one of our an initial assessment by Doc Maggie Mendoza, who's also a scientist by profession. So that means this project is initially a good one. Also, we
Yep.
have, according to Rotarian or fellow Rotarian Joyce San Teresa, you may also get in touch with the Rotary Club of Alabang Mardigal Business Park for this project and look for Rotarian Dan Rainier. Uh, Manoli Chua says that this project is amazing. If we could just let transporters like jeepneys or truck drivers use it, then their life will be better. So uh, great joy. Perhaps finding sponsors for the Todos will be a big help. I agree with you on that.
Yep.
And a question: will there be a volume discount for bulk orders?
Of course. Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, of course, of course. Thank you. But that's very affordable already. So just think of it as helping the PWDs, right, Dan? And
Yes.
regarding to that, I have a question. Can
Sure.
your organization that's doing that before? Can you share about the organization that's benefiting from this carbon cutter project, the PWDs?
Oh, sure. The organization is the Foundation for These Able People. And you can get to their website at fti2009.com. We've signed a partnership agreement with them on that. So uh, they are about I think they were created here in the Philippines in 2009, but the actual organization is bigger. It was started by a German fellow, and he has uh, different agencies around the world already doing the same thing.
Thank you, Dan. And again, before we go, another comment. We can recommend this to Rotary Club of 3810 and others, according to AK President Chot Velasquez, who is also a past president of Rotary Club.
Cool.
Uh,
Thank you.
Mr. Manoli Chua, fantastic. Let's see what we can do. And we'll definitely do that. Spread the word about the Carbon Cutter Project. Thanks, Dan and David. Thanks as well, Noli.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you everyone for tuning in to Ako at ang Kalikasan TV. Please share this live stream because it will be saved on our Facebook page, and you can share it anytime. You can download it. You can upload it in your YouTube channel. That's okay. Just don't forget to tag us www.actionkalikasan.org when you do it, because these videos are for the protection of the environment and for promotion of environmental advocacy.